Okay, here we are one more time, back from seeing Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Yes. You take me to the nicest drag races.
Yeah, so you probably can't see or hear it, but there's literally a bunch of arsehole teenagers that have strapped up an old car with a bungee rope to another car and they're dragging it around the car park here.
But
so
we're not them, so ignore
No.
them folks and concentrate on us.
Yeah, so hopefully that shouldn't be getting in the way. But so one story before we get into the movie. So the last few times we've been here, we've done these things. We go to the Odeon in Brighton, but it's been closed for maintenance. So we went to the Cineworld here in the Marina in Brighton, and this is the first time I've been here since a long time ago.
And that's the celebration noise for us.
Yeah, but last time I was here, I was filming a suicide awareness video for university, or at least that was the intention. So we had arranged for it for like weeks in advance. They said, yeah, you can film here, yeah, you can film. The day we were here, we'd set up, we were just about to film, actors were ready, cameras were ready, everything. Then security comes along and says, oh, actually, they don't want you filming here anymore.
Right.
On the day.
Yeah, it's
And
not very helpful.
I vowed to never come back ever again for that. But we were out of options, so we came here. But we are filming in the exact same car park I was filming in when I did that. So, joke's on you, Marina, I'm doing it this time. Yeah.
So, you've come here because you wanted revenge for the Marina.
Yes.
Ah, very
Yes.
good.
Very good. But yeah, so we just got out of Sonic 3. So a quick recap on the last two movies. First movie, I enjoyed it. It was definitely better than my expectations, especially with the really bad lead-in it had from the bad advertising, but I thought it was good. Second one, I wasn't as into. I felt it was getting a bit tired, and I felt it focused too much on some of the human side characters, but it was still decent. What about you, Ben?
I would agree with what you just said about the story so far, in that it was definitely finding its feet for a film about a fast hedgehog who moves on his feet. And then, yes, then it tilted in the other direction. Of course, we know about the infamous marriage subplot of movie 2.
Yeah, that basically hijacked the movie for 30 minutes.
Yes, well, I'm sure it'll age like fine wine. And now we have tilted this balance of the scales to a more even keel, would you say?
I would definitely agree. This is a movie, so we both actually really enjoyed this movie. A lot of people, particularly people I know who have already seen it, have been saying it's the best of the trilogy. I'd probably agree. I still wouldn't say these movies are amazing or if I love them, but this was definitely the most fun I had with all of them.
Yeah, Jim Carrey's retirement plan is going just as planned.
Exactly, yeah. So basically the plot of this one, so the first movie was more of its own plot, and the second one was sort of a semi-adaptation of Sonic 3.
And Sonic 2 adding in Tails.
Yeah, with a bit of Sonic 2 in there. This one's definitely an adaptation of Sonic Adventure 2.
As you would expected, by roping in Keanu Reeves, you said, no thank you, Star Wars, I want to be Edgy the Hedgy.
Yes, which I actually will admit, Keanu Reeves was really good as Shadow, because one of the problems with Keanu Reeves is that he tends to be a bit monotone in some of his performances, but when he does voice acting, he seems to put more energy and emotion into it, and he was really good as Shadow.
Yeah, unless you do the 5 minutes he did it for the bonus level in Sonic X Shadow Generations, but evidently he just rolled out of bed, but we'll forgive him for that one.
But either way, sort of like, I liked his voice, because I always feel with Shadow in the games, they give him way too gruff a voice, like they're trying way too hard to make him sound edgy. It's one of the reasons why I'm not really a fan of the character of Shadow, which there's a person on my Discord who I know is going to rip me apart for saying that, and when we get to this, and when we talk about it, I know you will do it, and I look forward to it. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of Shadow because I think he tries a bit too hard to be edgy, but Keanu Reeves' voice is a bit softer and he's got a lot of experience in acting, so he knows how to come off as cool but still have those elements of humanity in there.
Yeah, so as you've now probably presumed with the appearance of Shadow, this is a Sonic Adventure 2 movie with all the bits you might want in it, including multiple locations, multiple Jim Carreys, and a lot of action adventure.
Which, that's one of the interesting things, is that even though it is an adaptation of Sonic Adventure 2, it doesn't copy the story exactly, which I think was a good thing, because Sonic Adventure 2, there were parts of the story that were really interesting, but overall it was a little bit too stupid. But they take a lot of elements of the story that did work and put them in, and change bits that didn't. For example, there's a lot more time seeing Maria and Shadow bonding, whereas in the original game, and even in some of like the other material like Sonic X, you just kind of see Maria and Shadow for like 2 seconds, and then we're just supposed to assume they had a close relationship from that. This one shows more of it through this really good... That wasn't the cars, that was the wind.
That was my stomach.
But there's a really good bit where they show a montage
of Edgy the Hedgy,
of
bonding with Maria.
Of Shadow and Maria, and it's all done in silence. There's no dialogue, which is probably for the best, because the actress who played Maria couldn't really say her lines very well. I didn't think... Like, she was a good physical actress, but she couldn't quite get her delivery right.
You're more rehearsed in these things, but I think it did adequately fine for what it needed to do.
I suppose, but yes, like, she did a good job with the physical and facial acting, and it's a good scene. There's a lot of really good, cute moments where we see them bonding, and we get to see how their friendship created over time, and we see why Shadow is so angry at the world when... So, like in the story, he's been kept away in stasis for over 50 years. Although this time, they do call him the ultimate life form, but he's not genetically engineered like he is in the games. He's just another alien.
Another alien, full stuff on ECI, but we're not going to deal with Shadow the Hedgehog because that couldn't get past a family-friendly movie. So
they do have some elements from the Shadow the Hedgehog game, like the motorbike chase. And him teleporting around, kicking
here,
people.
There, and everywhere, yeah.
Which, to be fair, is like there's a lot of things you can say about Shadow the Hedgehog, the game, and the good and the bad, but it did have some really good cutscenes.
Where Jeff Fowler initially cut his teeth, I think.
Something
YouTube,
like
you
that,
don't need to tell me I'm wrong.
But yeah, like in the game, he gets sealed away for 50 years, and Gerald Robotnik is involved, and in the present.
How does he escape prison? I can't remember.
So when they're showing, like, with the security being hacked, you see the Eggman symbol.
Yeah.
So it's meant to be clear that Gerald is the one who hacked in and got Shadow out.
Yeah. And just now at this convenient moment, 50 years later.
Which is one of the things I'll get to. Is one of my minor problems with the movie, but we'll get to that later. So Gerald is in the movie, and as you've probably seen from the advertisement, he is also played by Jim Carrey. Which is interesting to see him play a dual role. He hasn't done one of those in a long time. The last one was like... obviously the most famous one he did was The Mask, but I guess Tales of Unfortunate Events. He was playing the same character, but he was playing them in various disguises. But yeah, it's good to see him do a dual role again, because it's not something he's always the most known for. And it's interesting because in the games, Gerald is normally depicted as a very sad, tragic, and noble figure. In this one, he's just an older version of Jim Carrey's Robotnik.
Equally as sane, but driven by grief and sadness, which then culminates in the whole idea of the last story and destroy everything, because, you know, that's what hatred and revenge and all those lovely negative emotions do to you.
And I think I actually prefer this better, because Gerald kind of came off as like a stereotypical anime, life is tragedy, I must destroy everything kind of character. This made him a lot more entertaining, and I'll also admit the makeup on him is really, really good. He really does look like a separate character, but you can tell that it's still Jim Carrey.
He's half the budget, Keanu Reeves is the other half of the budget.
Pretty much.
And then they still made a good movie out of it.
I mean, when you see the credits, there were so many, like, assistants to Keanu Reeves, assistant to Mr. Carey, sports therapist to Mr. Carey.
He's got a bad back, leave him alone.
Fair.
We'll all have it soon.
And to be fair, that dance scene he was doing with himself that definitely would have taken a lot of physical acting, and that was probably my favourite part of the movie. I love that bit. It was so stupid, but it was a lot of fun. But yeah, basically, so Gerald breaks out Shadow, and Gunn then come to get Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles to try and bring Shadow down. As you would imagine, it doesn't work. So they then... what happened after that again?
They then, through some manner of reason, get... by being beaten up by Shadow, that then forces the ire of Gunn to thinking, oh no, actually they're trying to work against us as well, setting up that kind of SA2
I just remembered, so that probably a very clever part of the movie. So anyone who's played Shadow Adventure 2 probably remembers the Chow Gardens.
Yes.
And they have that in this movie, but in a different way. So instead of it being basically an early sort of pet simulator sort of thing. It's a Japanese karaoke bar called the Chow Gardens with people wearing giant chow costumes. That was very funny. I thought
We
that
are
was
not
very
responsible
clever.
for the stereotypes, thank you, Japan.
I thought it was very funny. But either way, they give the exposition of Shadow. You know, he was found by Gunn, he was put in a lab, and they experimented on him. The lab blew up, and Gerald was taken away into custody for 50 years. And from that point, then Agent Stone pops up again.
Yes, these aren't the robots you're looking for that killed this gun commander, which interesting.
That
First
happened.
of many deaths in the movie.
Yeah, that kind of happened out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's like, I'm done with this now, thank you.
But either way, yeah, so he shows our Robotnik, Ivo Robotnik, which I think that's the first time they've mentioned his first name in the movies, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so they show that he's basically been lounging around in hiding for all this time. They don't explain how he survived the last movie. He's just alive again.
That's fine. I'll get you next time, Spider-Man,
Yeah,
etc.
but basically, so they prove that he's not the one who is involved, and they then go to the old lab where Shadow is kept to find out what's going on, because the bad guy has been using Ed Mang's technology.
In a haunted house routine where they're slowly picked up one by Shadow.
And a nice little cameo from the Casper movie there for no reason.
Yes, yeah, more money taken.
But yeah, so they come across Gerald, and he explains to Ivo that he has a plan to basically get revenge for Maria's death and to take revenge on the world. And naturally, Ivo believes what's going on, as they have the same out goal. So then he teams up with his grandfather and leaves Sonic, Tails and Knuckles behind, while his grandfather and Shadow go to enact their plan. And
Sonic, Tails and Knuckles escape, and both their plans converge in London town.
yes, so they go to London, where the gun headquarters is. And I will say they did somewhat take advantage of the location. I mean, not massively so, because we spend most of the time in the gun headquarters, but there's the bit where Sonic is going through London at super speed. Probably my favourite part is the bit where he reenacts the Abbey Road album cover art, and he goes, it was John, Paul, George, the other one. That was very funny.
I won't sign any more bloody autographs for you, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. But no, that was a good bit. But yeah, so the next part of the movie is basically a heist sequence with James Marsden and his wife, who at this point hadn't been in much of the movie, which was good because we got more time with Sonic and the others, which I felt we didn't get in the last movie.
Yeah.
And also, we do get his sister-in-law and her husband back, but as hologram disguises for him and his wife.
Glorified cameos.
Which was actually quite clever to still have them in the movie, but not hijack it for the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, a definite wink to the camera going, oh yes, we're back here, but not for long this time.
Exactly. But yeah, so they have to get into gun headquarters because Gerald's got a key to activate
the Eclipse Cannon.
Yes, the Eclipse Cannon from Sonic Adventure 2, but it requires 2 keys and Gun has the other one. So they break in, both of them. So basically, Team Sonic, as they're referred to, and Team Robotnik are both breaking in at the same time, which leads to the amazing sequence of
Gravity Schmavity.
Well, no, the bit with Robotnik and his grandfather dancing with each other in a laser grid.
Yes, the laser heist. Yes.
But yeah, so they get to the safe room, which has gravity panels. So some make you sink to the ground and others make you float in the air. And it's a cool little sequence, which I also haven't mentioned. So basically the main gun commander in this movie is played by Kristen Ritter.
And you'll know her from?
She's Jessica Jones.
Oh, crikey. Oh, my lord, that's an interlink to David Tennant and co.
Yeah, exactly.
He's everywhere.
So, that's another thing you can play for 6 Degrees to David Tennant.
Certainly is.
But yeah, so she does a good job. She doesn't do like the best, because I quite like Kristen Ritter, but this isn't one of her best performances, but she does alright.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically...
Stooge par excellence.
Yeah, exactly. But so yeah, the Robotniks end up managing to get so Kristen Ritter gets the key, and James Marsden disguises himself as the commander who died earlier in the movie in order for her to hand it over to him.
And after being distracted by being attacked by all of London's sewage,
yes,
Lima Jaub, lovely Lima Jaub, and Keanu Reeves eventually escape and darling Shadow finally just goes, yeah, can I have the key now, thanks? Done.
So, of course, since Jacob Marsden is still disguised as... James Marsden. Jacob Marsden's the voice actor. Because he's still disguised as the commander who was in charge of the operation that got Maria killed, naturally, Shadow punches him.
And all his lungs fall out.
Not quite exactly, but it does look pretty intense, to be honest.
Yeah.
And, of course, Sonic sees it and he's like, no. I can never remember the character's name.
Yes, neither could I.
No, but yeah, it's like,
poor old Tom.
James Marsden. Tom, yes, there you go. And of course, like, Shadow has a momentary flashback to when the same thing happened with Maria, which...
There's the seed of doubts, but in fact it now becomes a nice little flip.
Yeah,
and Sonic is consumed by rage and hate and guilt and whatnot.
Which was quite a clever way of going about it. It was sort of like laying the seeds of Shadow changing sides later on, but also... having Sonic go through this rage moment, which even in the games he doesn't normally go through that kind of really angry moment. So it's interesting to see him do that.
So he goes off on his own, annoys Team Sonic by going off on his own, kicks Wade, star of that strange mini-series called Knuckles, which we will never speak of ever again.
I've not seen Knuckles,
neither have I.
But I'm curious to see it because it's got a lot of people in it that I like Julian Barrett and Ellie Fanning, who I really like.
Oh, yeah.
So both of those are really funny people, and especially it's really cool to see Julian Barrett in anything. So I'm curious to check that out, but I haven't yet.
That requires more money for Paramount. We're in a cost of living crisis. Yeah,
exactly. But yeah, so he gets the Master Emerald and becomes Supersonic and goes up to the Eclipse Cannon, which at this point is in orbit and is about to fire on the Earth, and he basically tackles Shadow out of it to have their big fight. Meanwhile, while this has happened, Gerald has revealed his true purpose of the Eclipse Cannon.
Kill everything!
So it's basically like the video game where Ivo activates the Eclipse Cannon but doesn't realise that it's a lot more powerful than he expected, and the plan wasn't to just blow up parts of the world, it was to blow up all of it.
Shadow's done his bit of fueling it with his chaos energy, .tm.
Yes. Which it is a shame that he never uses chaos control in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Just his teleportation.
To be fair, they never established that can. Yeah, they never established he can use chaos control. So if it did happen, it would kind of happen out of nowhere. No, like with Supersonic in the last movie.
Yes, but then if they're being connected to the games, he doesn't have the Chaos Emeralds. The Chaos Emeralds are all stored in the Master Emerald in this franchise. So
yeah, but still, if he has
protected by the world's worst person.
But if he's going to have like chaos control, they should at least establish it so it doesn't just come out of nowhere. So. But it is a shame we didn't get to hear Keanu Reeves say chaos control.
But only in the games.
Yeah, but either way, so this results in Ivo going against Gerald, and they have a really cool fight, actually, using nano weapons.
He survives the bitch slap. How does he do that, I wonder?
It is quite impressive, actually. But yeah, so that's going on. Shadow and Sonic are fighting.
And then because
and it's a really epic fight, I have to say. Like, it starts off which also something that happens that they didn't quite establish. They can all breathe in space, apparently.
We'll get to that. Yes, once Shadow smacks Supersonic out, they both race for the emeralds. They get their superpowers. They fight everywhere on Earth. Eventually, Shadow goes Sonic, and they go off to the moon.
Yeah, so the fight ends up on the moon with both Super Shadow and Supersonic. At that point, Super Shadow's powers wear out, and Sonic is still super form. It seems like he's about to kill Shadow, but there is a nice moment where, he thinks back to what James Marsden said earlier in the movie, and he realised this isn't
family, heart, etc.
I mean, it's better. It wasn't like a full-on Martha moment from Superman v Batman, thankfully.
Yeah.
But either way, no, it was a good moment to kind of just let the two finally, break down and go, this isn't what I want, and Shadow finally realizes this isn't what Maria would want. And it's a really nice little moment where they see the sun rising over the Earth, and there's a good callback to a line that Maria had about stars, and it's very sweet.
I just see a light through the sunroof. Never mind.
That's the light on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And then it leads to the moment I'm sure many Sonic fans were waiting for, is that yes, they do both go super at the same time, and yes, Live and Learn is in this movie.
It's the subject of the lawsuit. Moving on.
Well, either way, it's like, it is really cool to hear Live and Learn, because it's a great song, and they have a really cool orchestral version of it, which sounds amazing. So they're basically fighting against a bunch of Eggman robots to get back to the Eclipse cannon.
Glorified, overused gun robots from SA2.
Yeah, pretty much. And also, even though they don't establish chaos control, they do show that Shadow has his shadow darts.
And he's various chaos spears, just for that move, just to please the fans.
But either way, so they managed to make it. Well, they don't make
Gerald beats Ivo and tries to sacrifice him to his death. Tails and Knuckles save him somehow.
Yeah, they just kind of pop out of nowhere.
Oh, rings, of course.
Yeah, the rings, but how did they know he was in trouble, or how did they know to go there at that moment? But either way, they managed to save him, and in quite a surprisingly, fatal moment, he basically shoves Gerald into the Chaos Ring.
He uses a hedgehog spine to zap his arse.
Yes.
And then he gets dissipated into nothingness like Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah, that happened surprising. That kind of caught me off guard. That happened so intensely and so quickly. But
bug zapped.
But either way, he's dead. So now it is like the game. He is dead again. But they can't turn off the laser because Gerald smashed the controls console.
And so, Doctor Who fans, it's time for the end of Revenge of the Cybermen, which will just steer the thing away.
Yeah, so they just literally steer the laser away from Earth, although in the process they cut a decent portion of the moon off.
No, don't make that joke. Thank you.
Well, it's a reference to the bit in the game where Robotnik blows up half the moon and turns it into a robot version.
It's also an awful fan-dub joke. We don't talk about it.
But they don't really go back to it again. It's like afterwards, like after everything's said and done, it's like, wait, isn't still part of the moon missing?
Repercussions are not talked about.
Yeah, but either way, so they move it away, but the laser is still going, and the core is about to overload and blow up, and so the radiation would ruin the Earth.
So Ivo gets his big hero moment.
Yes.
And he comes to, oh no, I'm about to make a fan-dub joke. He makes an announcement, but he loves Leela Majube, and off he goes.
Yeah, so he does actually sacrifice himself, and this time we do see most of his body like vaporize. So if he does come back from this, it would be a big surprise, because I don't know how he could survive being inside the middle of a giant space station exploding in orbit.
I could think of it, but it depends on one of the end after movie credits scenes.
Yeah, but either way, so he and because Shadow is pushing the laser away, so he seemingly sacrifices himself.
Removes his limiters, everybody's happy, yes.
Yeah, so he takes off, which is another thing they didn't establish, his limiter rings. But either way, it is cool to see that happen. And so after that, Sonic, Tails and Knuckles then go
fall to Earth, but yeah, it's a case of both Tails then Knuckles saving Sonic, even though once again he made bad choices. Yeah,
exactly, but they all decide, we're a team again, and it ends with them having a camping session like they did earlier in the movie and having a race. So that's the actual end of the movie itself, and I will say that it was a nice touch for the credits to have polygonal versions of the characters like from the Dreamcast game. That was a nice touch.
They've upgraded from the 6-bit and the 18-bit versions from the earlier movies.
Yes, but either way, so that's the official end, but there are two post-credit sequence. One which featured something that I was hoping we would see in this movie, or maybe even the last one, but we finally got, which was Metal Sonic.
And thank you for spoiling it for me, Reddit, even though it was over a spoiler tag. A certain pink hedgehog as well.
Yeah, so basically an army of Metal Sonics come out to attack Sonic. Then the Pico Hammer comes in and destroys all of them, and Sonic goes, "Who are you?" And it takes off the hood, and obviously it's Amy. She doesn't have any lines, but Amy is in the movie.
So Sonic 4 is Sonic CD, sort of, which kind of makes sense considering
that's right.
We sucked the space colony arc Eclipse cannon into a black hole, so Little Planet's going to probably come out of it, which is nice.
Yeah, I didn't realise that.
I love Sonic CD.
Yeah, Sonic CD is amazing. So yeah, that's right.
Oh no, time travel, more David Tennant.
Oh, that may be how they get Robotnik back.
Oh dear, we're in trouble now.
But yeah, so there is one final sequence at the very end of the credits which shows one of Shadow's limiter rings has fallen to Earth, and his shoe picks it up. I mean, it's indicating that obviously Shadow did survive, but yeah.
If we can get Keanu Reeves back.
But either way, yeah, so I did enjoy this movie. I was it was also legit really funny. It's like the humor of the first movie, there were bits that worked. The second one I didn't get into, but this one was legit really funny.
And it's now making self-referential humour in certain places as well, which doesn't overstay its welcome.
That was a good, like, there's a bit where Gerald and Ivo say at the same time, it's like we're one actor playing the same part in both cases.
Callbacks to the first movie with the lattes and the doing the roboto.
So there were only 3 things in the movie that kind of bothered me. The first one, which is a little bit of a major problem, but it didn't ruin it for me, the pacing is way, way, way too fast. It really goes by quickly. It's like when the laser was going into space, I was like, wait, we're here at this point already? That seems pretty quick.
It's also a very long 10-minute countdown as well.
It is.
It's a Terry Nation 10-minute countdown. It takes forever.
And to be fair, the movie is made for kids. You need to maintain their attention. But at the same time, it felt like there weren't that many quiet and slow moments. It just felt like it was high octane all the way through. So it's like even the editor's going, gotta go fast.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, we're running out of things. Did you say there was a lot of cut scenes?
I don't think there's a lot of cut scenes, but there are a few moments where it does look like some shots were cut out, because there are some weird edits in the movie. But it wasn't too big of a problem. After a while I got used to it, but it was a bit annoying. The other problem is that there was really no reason for Gerald to enlist Ivo's help at all, because there was nothing he did that Gerald could do on his own.
Other than the familial connection, and then to go, yeah, you're a stooge.
But there was really no reason for him to team up, because there was nothing that required Ivo being there. It was good. It was still good to have them team up. That was good. But yes, and also, like you said, why did you start to enact his plan now? Why not, like, 40 years ago?
49 years. Well, he needed Gunn to make his Eclipse cannon for him, I suppose.
I guess, but there was nothing in the movie that said that it had only just been finished now. So
yeah, there's that.
And the only other thing that irked me was that the climax did really disregard Knuckles and Tails. And to be fair,
until they popped up right at the end.
Yeah, but it's meant to be more focused. It's meant to be more focused on Sonic and Shadow and their interaction, which is fair enough. But like the Deus Ex Machina of them just popping up at the end is just kind of like, oh yeah, we're in the movie now. It was kind of an irritating thing. I wasn't. Yeah, but they still had some good moments, and I'll admit that the actors that play all the roles have definitely grown into them at this point. Like Ben Schwartz, I was never the biggest fan of Sonic, because I hear his voice and I just hear Dewey Duck from the DuckTales reboot, and 2, I felt that his voice was a bit too, like, childish, but it's grown on me. And Idris Elba has really grown into his role as Knuckles. He sounds much more comfortable in the role, and he's a lot funnier.
He knows where to pace it. Do this comedy line here, do this useful line here.
Yeah, obviously Tails' voice actress is good, because she's been doing the voice for years.
Yeah.
And yeah, Keanu Reeves did a good job as well. But yeah, so there were some flaws, but overall I did enjoy it.
And so did the people in the back too. Interestingly, off topic, somehow Sonic got his Blue Peter badge. I have no idea how he managed to get that, but he did. So unfortunately, folks, I don't have my shirt anymore, but I've got mine.
Yeah,
so
he can't find his Sonic shirt he had the last 2 times, unfortunately.
No, I think it's gone to the great wash in the sky.
Yeah. Before we move on to trailers, I did promise you a surprise, Ben.
You did indeed. I'm slightly worried. What on earth is this?
So, and this is also a little bit of a bonus, so I'll put it up on the screen once I've edited it. But
yes.
So, as most of you know, we now do comics on the channel, and the next one is going to be very appropriately themed, and it features this character in it.
Oh god, it's me doing some things. Do I need a hand with you? And your lovely little Fennec goes and tries to kill us all.
That's not Rocky, that's Huck in a Sonic costume.
So it is, folks. So there you are, live and first at hand.
So yeah, so basically, as a way of explaining this, Ben used to have an online avatar called Scrub Monkey Third Class, which is a reference to coconuts from The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's why I like me Lee Majube. I'm used to being a stooge for others.
Yeah, so...
Oh, hang on a minute.
But either way, so like, I only really found out that that's where the term Scrub Monkey Third Class comes from very recently, and since we're doing this comic, which is based on The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, I thought, why don't we put Ben in there as well?
Thank you very much.
So yeah, and you really liked the drawing.
I did, yes. I
It's
thought it was finally dead. Oh no, it's not dead. I'm here forever.
it's confusing now because you're Ben, and the guy who does the drawing of the comics is also called Ben.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben Schwartz. The Ben's rule. Oh no, hang on a minute. Cut that.
His name's Ben Anderson.
Yeah, I'm thinking of another one. That's fine.
But yeah, so stay tuned for that comic. That is coming soon. But yeah, so what trailers did we get? Oh, Dogman.
Dogman. Minecraft.
Oh, the Minecraft trailer. And Captain America: A Brave New World.
Starring definitely not Harrison Ford. Yes.
So
Strange
Dogman, it didn't look that special, but I do like Dave Pikely's work. I used to grow up reading the Captain Underpants comics.
Yes,
I didn't read Dogman, admittedly, but this does look kind of cute. It doesn't look particularly intelligent, but Dave Pikely's work never is that intelligent. So yeah, it looks like it'll be cute at the very least.
Knows his audience.
Although at the same time, the bit at the beginning of the trailer where it starts off with a policeman's head getting damaged and a dog's body getting damaged, and the nurse,
we can rebuild them.
Yeah, the nurse just goes, "What if we put the dog's head on the man's body?" And it's like,
no.
Well, that's twisted.
Yeah, but that's what the kids want nowadays, because that's what's in their twisted minds, isn't it?
Either. And also, there's the line in the trailer, part dog, part man, and I thought they were going to go all cop, like the RoboCop tagline, but no, it just went all hero. It's like, well, they probably did that to avoid getting sued.
Yeah, pretty much.
Then yeah, there's the Captain America: Brave New World, which I'm kind of done with Marvel at this point, I'll admit. After Guardians of the Galaxy 3, there's not much that I want to see, but Harrison Ford turning into Red Hulk, that was bizarre to see.
That was him, oh crikey.
Oh yeah, in the comics, the character Harrison Ford is playing is also Red Hulk.
The President and also the Red Hulk. Huh. Okay.
It's not the President, he's like high-ranking member of the army.
Good for him.
And yeah, then we got the Minecraft trailer, which this one was a bit longer, so we see more of the movie, and as stupid as it looks, it does kind of look like it's a movie that knows it's being stupid, and it kind of reminds me a lot of the Lego movie, where it's so silly, but it's kind of really showing the world as it works, and kind of both paying tribute to it, but also lovingly mocking it. So it might be good, but yeah, it looks really, really bizarre, and some of the animation's not that good.
Yeah, good luck with that one, folks.
But, you know, I might check that out. That's coming out in April. But, yeah, so beyond that, we had a good time on this one.
Yeah, if we minus your 3 problems, then we get to a 7/8 out of 10, which is what I was going to give it anyway.
Yeah, it's pretty solid, I'd say. But it looks like there is going to be another one planned, so
2027, where we're most definitely in our mid-30s. Oh, God.
Well, I turned 30 yesterday.
Well, you did. Many happy returns.
But we'll see what happens. So if there is another one, we'll be doing another one of those. But
yes, indeed.
until the next time, see you guys later.
Bye, folks.